whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no fella is come up against us. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of my feet glorious.
Because the Lord is going to restore everything. You're going to have a total different vibration on the earth, a total different smell. You're not going to be walking down the street and smell shit and piss, and no foul odors or nothing like that, because the lungs of the earth are going to be given back to it, which is all these trees and all of these flowers, and there's going to be a whole total different vibration. You're going to see the aura and how things are going to change and how elevated things are going to be. Our senses are going to be heightened. Everything about us is going to be glorified.
For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and a people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem, and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that hath not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old. But the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build, and another inhabit. They shall not plant and another eat. Whereas the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord, and their offspring with them. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith the Lord.
The Lord said that on the Heavenly Father's right hand there are pleasures evermore. And it says that I have not seen, neither ear heard the things which the Lord hath prepared for them that wait for him. There's a whole another world of greatness that awaits us when the kingdom of heaven is established. It's not seen in this society. In this society, we only see carnal things that reason offers in this society. But when the kingdom is established, the Lord is going to open us up to a whole nother world, of pleasure, of knowledge, of wisdom, understanding, can't even be put into words, because our imagination only goes but so far.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Makakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessing and salutation to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Makakwadash. And double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. What I want to get into today, is dealing with the concept of forever slave. All right. And when we look at today's society, especially in America, all right, amongst the American citizens and especially amongst our people, you have this mindset of forever slave, and people are extremely content, okay, with putting their lives in the hands of the government, and forever being a servant to this system. Because when people complain, they're not complaining to be liberated, from an oppressive system. All right. They just want better treatment in the oppressive system. Okay. That's why they only complain about wages. They don't complain about autonomy. Okay. They don't complain about, you know, children, being educated in skills, to be independent. They don't complain about the money system. They just complain about more money in, all right, the money system. Okay. They don't complain about, the government, should start giving land and teaching, the youth, okay, how to work the land, how to farm, how to be self-sufficient. Okay. And just giving examples. They don't complain about those things. They only complain about more, all right, wages, okay, within this current system. Okay. So they can be more comfortable as slaves. And when it comes down to it, people's really complaint. All these people making these compilations, and people complaining about this current situation. Well, they just complaining to be more comfortable as slaves, because there was a time when there was more comfortable slaves. Okay, it just getting to the point to where the discomfort, okay, because of lack of wages and resources, is getting to them. Okay, but they're not mad at the system altogether. They're not mad at being completely dependent on this government. Okay, they're mad about their government is taking away their ability to be comfortable within the system of oppression, man. So when you go to the book of St. John, chapter 8, verse 32, it says, "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." You know, and as we know the truth, one thing about the scriptures, it lets us know that we're in captivity. Most of our people, they would, beg to differ if you told them, you're still a slave. Okay. You're still a slave. You're still in captivity. Okay. And our people think just because you can get a passport, well, the fact that you have to get a passport, you're asking permission, all right, from another entity. That means that there's someone, all right, that has authority over how you move. Okay. There's authority there's authority over you that has a say so, all right, in your personal affairs. You see, you have to have a driver's license, social security card. Okay, you have to get a tag. You have to pay taxes on land, on your house. You have to, get taxes withheld from your check. Okay, there's an economy where you don't control, the inflation of the money. Okay, so there's an entity that's making a lot of decisions that directly affect your personal life. You're a slave. All right, we're a slave, man. You see, but what the truth does, it sets us free, all right, in the spirit, to where we're not slave minded, all right, and we have a hope of true freedom, true liberty, which is in Yahweh Shai. Okay, when Yahweh Shai returns, okay, he's taking us out of captivity, man. Okay, and putting us back in rulership. You see, let's go here, and this is why we await, the day of Yahweh Shai, because we know there's true freedom. Okay, our minds have been freed, and then there's gonna come a time where Yahweh Shai, he's gonna come, all right, liberate our bodies. No matter of fact, we're gonna get new bodies. Our spirits are gonna be liberated from these old bodies into new bodies. You see? So with Yahweh Shai is true freedom. Okay? Let's go here. This is Isaiah 51:14. It said, the captive exile hasted that he may be loose, and that he should not die in the pit, nor that his bread shall fail. And this truth opens us up to, we're exiled. We're not even in our home. This is not our home. This is not our rest. This is not our rest. This place was never for us, man. This was a place of punishment. Okay? So we don't have any expectations of this society. That's one thing, the truth, it frees us from having expectation of this society, except it being destroyed. Okay? But someone that's still slave-minded, this is everything they know. And that's why a lot of our people are offended, and we speak about the destruction of America. Because someone that's slave-minded, they can't see life without America. They can't see life without the so-called white man in power. That's why our people cleave to the so-called white man so much, because they're slave-minded and they can't see existing without massa being in power. Okay? They've been domesticated. You see, they think survival, begins and ends with Esau Edom's government in place. Okay, and we're gonna get into that. I got some things in the chat I want to go into. Okay, but the captive exile, back in Isaiah 51:14, the captive exile hasted that he may be loose. Okay, the fact, like I said, the fact that we're exiled, man, we're from Jerusalem, man, we're from Israel. Okay, we're from the other side of the world. The Lord's, all right, shipped us to the ends of the earth for punishment, man. But now, there's a promise about, the Lord having mercy on the remnant of his people in the end, and it's a good chance we could be part of that remnant, So now we long to go home. We long to, for a righteous rulership, okay, to dominate the earth for our people, because it's going to be one big ruling family in the kingdom, man. Israel going to be one big family ruling the earth in righteousness, man. Okay, that's true liberty. That's true freedom. You see, not minimum wage. Okay. No tax on overtime. See, people are excited. Slaves get excited about that. Now, if your check, they don't tax your overtime, of course, use the word, not abuse it. Okay. Your check be, $108 more. Okay. Cool. You see, but that's not a victory. Okay. That's not, Jake, that's the Super Bowl to Jake. No tax on overtime, and a nigga can die happy. I lived through the era when Trump didn't tax overtime, and that'd be everything to a nigga. Okay? But nah, man, we want true liberty. We're developing a ruling class mentality, man. And money don't make a ruler happy, man. A true ruler ain't happy with money. Okay? A true ruler wants liberty, man. Wants sovereignty. Okay? But Esau Edom has done a hell of a job creating a forever slave. The way that he's pampered people to the point to where they don't see nothing past this, man. They worship their captivity. And the Romans, they was good at that as well, which we'll get that too. Okay? Because you go here. Let's get this real quick. The book of Micah 2. But our people have gotten so comfortable, with the convenience of this captivity, all right, that Jake is a forever slave. And not only that, Jake can defend their master. And anyone that talks about liberation, all right, is a threat to Jake. Jake is offended when you talk about true freedom. Micah 2:10 says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest." Okay, and through this gospel, we've departed, all right, from this place, man. Okay, we're not comfortable here. You see, we don't see, all right, a future, okay, in this setup, man. We do what we gotta do, we maintain our situation, man. But any day now, we're ready, hey, to go, man. In our minds, our bags is packed at the door. Okay, in the spirit, our bags is packed, man. waiting on our Lord. Okay, we're constantly detaching more and more from this place, man. Okay, this is not our rest, man. There yet remaineth a rest. Okay, but this ain't it. You see, he says, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction, man. And that's another thing. People don't even care about the filthiness of this society. You know, that's why Esau can give you the Epstein list and you people still participate in this society. You still trust, all right, these PD files, the PDF files and Satanists, cannibals, all right. You niggas still gonna go vote. All right, they talking about the midterms. You niggas still gonna go vote. You people still gonna vote and participate. Okay, and vow, commit yourself, all right, to slavery. You see, you don't stand for anything. You don't. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, you don't stand for anything, and you don't. All right. Make an uproar about the things that are done to you daily. You know, matter of fact, they control what you uproar about. Okay, they control. You know what they want you to be mad about, what they want you to celebrate, what they want you to be divided on. You know, so it's control on a whole nother level. Okay, it said it shall destroy you even with a sword destruction, man. You know, and being comfortable here, man, it makes you lewd. Okay, it makes you rebellious, it makes you proud, it makes you everything that the Lord hates, which is going to be punished, man. Okay, being comfortable in this setup makes you everything that the Lord hates, man. It gives you that proud look. Okay, puts you in this rebellious spirit. Okay, and it puts you in unity with the oppressor, man. Okay, with the Heavenly Father, He's getting ready to judge the oppressor. Okay, but you still have our people, you know, that think that it's just absurd that anyone can have a problem with the so-called white man. Okay, and you American citizens so pampered, okay, and so watered down, you know, that it's going to take, you know, this devil to really snatch away all your comforts. When you Americans can't have your stimulation, that's when you're going to lose it. Okay, when you don't have access to food and the internet, you Americans are going to absolutely lose it. But as long as you have, you know, food, no matter how much it costs, okay, the internet, okay, because you have people that's homeless, and what they got the internet, so they just giving you a day-for-day journey of their homelessness, you know, because they're comforted by the internet and the reactions and, you know, the sympathy that they can get on the internet that comforts them. Okay, Esau has done a hell of a job, you know, creating a forever slave. All right, 2/3 and you American citizens, man, are forever slaves. Okay, so let's see, let's segue to this video real quick. I want to play this, and then I got some things on the chat. This is a quick video the brother put up. And the guy, he made some points. You know, this little funny looking fella made some points, man. So let's play this.
Look, it's getting to a point where we all just need to shut the fuck up and stop talking about, oh, the government is so corrupt. They keep taking our tax dollars and spending it on fraud and whoop-diddy-whoop. Like, look, can we... be fucking for real for just one moment? We keep making all these videos saying things like, when is enough gonna be enough? Let's go on a tax strike and not pay our taxes. Let's revolt and force real change. Like, come on, y'all. We're the kind of people that stare through the peepholes of our front doors, watching as the DoorDash guy drops off our food and takes that little picture he's got to take to prove that he dropped it off to us. And there we are, looking through that little fucking hole like degenerates, waiting to eat our absurdly overpriced McDonald's that we just let some random stranger bring to our place of living. Like, we're all out here pretending like we're gonna revolt against the government. Come on, guys. Like, come on. They threw boo-boos and Starbucks bear cups at us, and y'all folded like a damn lawn chair. It's time to just accept the fact that we are cooked. We are all willing slaves to the very system that we complain about that controls us. And we won't do shit about it because we would rather sit at home and doom scroll ourselves into oblivion. So let's just accept that we're all a part of it, and we're all too addicted to the dopamine overstimulation to do anything about it.
He's exactly right. All right, because you look at American people, okay, you eat flavored poison every day. All right, you watch scripted sports. Okay, the men and women argue about nothing all goddamn day. Okay, your children are not yours. Okay, all your tax money pays for, coups in other nations. They just give foreign nations billions and billions upon billions of your tax dollars. Okay, your wages don't increase when everything else does. Okay, and what do you people do? Because you people, what do you do? You go work more, okay, to try to make yourself more comfortable, and they know that. Okay, you're charged. It's America where you're charged for everything. Just like just simple things. I wanted to go get some buckets out of Walmart yesterday, but then they sold the top separately. They just charge you for every goddamn thing, man. They charge you for every goddamn thing. You see? So this is what you call a predatory capital system, and people don't care. Okay, because if it's a predatory capital system, well, who's the prey? The masses. Okay, you have the most expensive healthcare in the world. Americans, you work the most hours in the world. Okay, you have the less savings in the world. Okay, and you willingly participate every day. Okay, there's no outcry, okay, from you Americans, man. You see, let's go from there. Let's get this in the chat real quick, because Alex Huxley's, okay, Brave New World. Let me see this one, Nick. All right. Matter of fact, let's go here, dealing with Rome. Okay, because Rome. All right, it says Roman citizens bred in circuses. Okay, so let's go here. I say you people watch these scripted sports. Okay, on the internet, women chasing attention. Okay, simps chasing women. Okay, everybody got to post every second of their day. To get some type of validation. You see. And so these people in the least know that they made you people forever slaves. And that's why they know they're going to do something drastic. They're going to have to take away, all right, your stimulation for you to really lose it. Okay, that's why 2nd Ezra said because of lack of bread. Okay, so they're going to have to take away your daily comforts for you, for them to get the reaction that they want. Okay, because ICE could shoot 10 citizens a day. You people wouldn't do a thing. That's why they got to get crisis actors, man, because you people are so pampered and so desensitized, okay, to captivity, okay, and the ill treatment of your government, that it's going to take them taking away your daily luxuries for you to revolt. Okay, It says the idea that Roman pacified his population through luxury mostly comes from the phrase bread and circuses coined by Juvenal. All right. It says during the empire, especially under rulers like Augustus, um, emperors distributed free and subsidized grain, funded massive public games and spectacles, built bathhouses, farms, and temples, hosted gladiatorial contests at venues like the Colosseum. Why? Politically stability. It says keeping the urban population of Rome fed and entertained reduced the risk of riots and rebellion. Large cities without welfare systems were volatile. Grain shortages could trigger unrest fast. So, yes, in the case of providing comfort and spectacle, was a conscious, all right, political strategy. Okay, so let's go from there. Making you Roman citizens. They were like a badge of honor. Okay, that's why you have people, that come from far, to become an American citizen, so they make it seem as if you're privileged just to be an American citizen. Okay, and also America demonizes, the world. So America's viewpoint of the rest of the world is that the rest of the world is terrible and they're in the best position that they can be. No, nobody else in the world has running water. Nobody in the world, you know, you see, has infrastructure. You see, everybody else is in tents and huts and terrorists running crazy, and you know, well, America is the most violent. You see, children are completely unsafe. All right, are a prey. You know, but they paint the rest of the world as unlivable. All right, so not only is your situation livable, but you're advanced. Okay, so the lens of most Americans is that no one has it better than them. Okay, and then as we, look beyond and you really search into things, man, you see that there's been systems set up, even like Libya. Okay, when people actually got, they shared in the wealth, okay, of the resources of Libya. People got checks based off oil profits. Okay, people had free health care. Okay, newlyweds got free housing plus a $50 stimulus for being a newlywed. Schooling was free, so forth and so on. Even in Cuba, okay, under Fidel Castro, the life expectancy of Cuban citizens were longer than American citizens under Fidel Castro because certain programs that were set up in Cuba, man. Okay, well, all you get is the Fidel Castro is this monster, warmongering, this and that. And not saying that these people, Gaddafi, uh, uh, Castro, just these perfect, men. Okay, but they wasn't what the Western media painted them. And there's societies where their governments actually serve the people. Okay, but America paint everyone as being inhumane. Every other leader in the world is inhumane, and America is these moral, all right, perfect models of how a government should be. When it's the exact opposite, man. There's no one that's more psychologically damaged and oppressed and gaslighted and suppressed than American people. Okay, so when you go into, I asked about, a brave new world. So I said, what would it look like? I said, what would it look like today with modern technology, according to Alex Huxley's Brave New World and people loving their captivity? Okay, so we went over Brave New World before. All right, where you have this British, elite. All right, Aldous Huxley. Okay, and he wrote how, he seen the future where people will fall in love with their captivity and their slavery. All right, through constant pleasure and distraction. Okay, and it has came to light, because he was in those inner circles, okay, of those enlightened Edomites amongst these elite families. All right. So he heard certain conversations and he knew what things were trending to. Okay. So he wrote this book, A Brave New World. All right. So when you're going through the book, his main points was constant pleasure and distraction. You see? So he went into this book, the main, topics of this book as far as where society was heading, okay, was constant pleasure and distraction, consumerism, drug-induced happiness, engineering social classes, okay, entertainment over critical thinking, okay? And this is the society we live in now. Constant pleasure and distraction, consumerism, drug-induced happiness, okay, and engineered, all right, social classes, you see, and entertainment over critical thinking. And that describes this current society to a T. Okay. It said Huxley later wrote in Brave New World Revisited that people might one day come to love their servitude, not because they're forced, but because it feels comfortable and pleasurable. Okay. So Esau has been able to saturate people with constant pleasure and distraction, consumerism. Okay. Drug-induced happiness, man, whether it's digital or whether it's literal drugs. Okay. But people have access to pleasure 24/7. Okay. Cheap pleasures at that. Okay. Cheap, poor quality food, poor quality, alcohol and, cheap pleasures at that, man. Okay. Every drug you can think of is available on American streets. Okay. And plus you have the digital world, which all those they overstimulate, all right, your dopamines. People are dopamine junkies, man. Okay. It said that we compare Huxley's world to modern technology. Some parallels, all right, people often point out include endless digital distraction, social media, streaming platforms, short form video, constant stimulation keeps people entertained and emotionally engaged. Instead of soma, we have dopamine loops from apps and notifications. Okay, and most people live in their phone. Most people are one with their phone. They have a whole, they got a whole virtual reality. Okay, they have a whole alternative, all right, alternate reality in their phone. Because most people who they are in real life doesn't match their internet persona. Okay, well, it say consumer identity. It said like Huxley's society, modern culture often defines identity through brands. Okay, and these niggas rap about brands, and if you have those brands, that's your identity. Some red bottoms. Okay, Chanel, this type of car, this brand car, this brand shoe, this brand belt. Okay, so people's identity comes through brands. Social class. That's why they can sell you that ugly ass Tesla truck, because it identifies with status. Okay, anything that's associated with status, man. People, you got the nigga woman taking out loans to get Birkin bags, man. Okay, you got the nigga woman taking out a loan to get a Birkin bag. Okay, 30,000 for a purse or whatever, $20,000-$30,000 for a purse. Let me see, woman. Let me see who we got there real quick. Yeah, so let's pull this up real quick.
You don't know what it is. You don't know what it is. You don't know. Good, you haven't got anything yet. The credit card hasn't been put inside.
I know. Wait.
Okay?
Oh my god. Are you serious? You got it.
Woman gets approved for Hermes Birkin and loses her mind. Okay? You don't think that she's ready to take the C hill right now? Okay, and she represents one of millions that think like this, man. Okay, over a goddamn purse. We took out a loan over a purse. Okay, and this is what Esau's social engineering has created: a forever slave. Okay, a forever slave, man. So let's go back to the chat. Okay, let's go here. Wrong one. Let's go. So let's go back. All right. So it says consumer identity. It says, like Huxley society, modern culture often identified through brands, product trends, and online personas. And people, can curate these online personas. All right. They can create an exaggerated version of themselves, and get this attention and get all this feedback. And that just overstimulate people's dopamine, to where people are just checking notifications all day. Okay, they just go through the day checking notifications all day. It says emotional management through technology, mood regulating medications, algorithmically, all right, curated feeds and digital echo chambers can shape perception and emotional states. Okay, so getting, a million views or, hundreds of thousand views and hundreds of, you know, uh, comments and praise and, all these different things, man, play a part in people's emotional states. And that's why you seen people, okay, begin to uproar when AT&T went down. People started to storm the stores. Okay, immediately. Okay, because people need their fix. People need their digital fix, man. People are set to take the mark of the beast, man, the MOTB. People are primed for it. Okay, because people need their digital fix. Okay, these communities that they're a part of, and like I say, this identity that they've created on the internet, these communities, and you see, that's a part of their daily dopamines. Okay, that they become addicted to. Okay, it says self-control versus hard control. It said Huxley vision contrasts with a fear-based surveillance state, all right, of 1984 by George Orwell. All right, Orwell was controlled through fear, censorship, and punishment. And when these devils merge you with their device, it's going to be more Orwellian. When they merge you with this technology, see, right now it's soft control, control through pleasure, comfort, and distraction. Well, when these devils get this digital, all right, public infrastructure up and going, okay, and they merge you with this technology, man, it's going to be more Orwellian. Okay, right now he's doing the soft sell on the New World Order. But once they lock you into the digital enslavement, it's going to be a hard sell. Okay, it's going to be Walian. You see, it says many modern cities argue that contemporary societies resemble Huxley models more than Orwell's, where people willingly trade privacy, depth, and autonomy for convenience and entertainment. Okay, so people trust their government for survival. Okay, Esau has created a dependency on the government like no other society. No other society in history depended on their government, all right, for daily essentials like this current government. Okay, no other society, man. Okay, gave all their autonomy to a central government. You see, and this is why this society is set for the taking. Okay, it says in love with their captivity. It said Huxley's most provocative idea isn't that people are oppressed, is that they want freedom because stability feels safer than uncertainty. Pleasure feels better than truth. Yeah, you have a term where people say the lesser of two evils. Okay, they pick their presidents by saying, "Well, let's get the lesser of two evils." That's natural. That's normal. Okay, because stability feels safer than uncertainty. You see, so his consistency, all right, and his convenience, plus the saturation of distraction, pleasure, entertainment. Okay, people would rather exist in that condition, no matter how oppressive it is. Okay, no matter how much they extort it. All right, people just feel better in their setup. It said pleasures feel better than truth. Convenience feels better than autonomy. Okay, and that's why people look at the prophets. Okay, like pests. You know what they call Paul a pestilent fellow. You see, so they look at the prophets as pests. You're interrupting my convenience and stability and pleasure. You're talking against my convenience, stability, and pleasure. Okay, and that's why most people are going to be okay to be with the persecution of the prophets. Okay, because we're against this current world. You see, we speak truth, and people would rather have pleasure than truth. And the scriptures go into that. We'll get there. Matter of fact, let's get it. Let's get this real quick. What did I think that's in Galatians as well. We get one in the New Testament. This is on Galatians 4:16. It says, "Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth?" Because the truth is uncomfortable. You see, and our people have been pampered so long. All right, saturated with convenience and entertainment. The truth. Okay, is displeasing to our people. Okay, truth doesn't offer instant comforts and pleasures, and you see, validation and dopamine. Okay, and people love pleasure over truth, man. And so why as we speak truth, as we speak about the end of this society, okay, well, we become an enemy to this world. 2/3 they don't want to hear the end of this current age. A nigga woman don't want to hear the end of the matriarch, where she can call the shots. She's the head of the house. She can just be the dictator, tyrant in the house. Okay, under this captivity. Okay, niggas don't want to deal with the responsibility of rulership. You see, Jake just want to be straight niggas walking around the earth. You see, no responsibility. Okay, and even these, these jakes like Anton Daniels, they don't want to deal with the truth. Okay, that this is oppressive captivity. Oh man, y'all blame the white man for everything. Y'all blame the white man, niggas like that. Okay, so on every level, whether you an Anton Daniels type nigga, okay, they got a little something going. Okay, so you're all about, enterprising, because you're able to go, make a few moves in this society. Okay, that's ran by PDF file and Satanists, but because you're able to make a few moves, make a few coins here and there, be seen, be looked at as, in a particular light. Okay, but your people are finished. All right, the earth is being destroyed. Okay, and it's constantly getting worse. So everything is getting worse around you. But as long as your current situation, all right, has comforts and pleasures. Okay, Jake cool. Okay, to where it's just a straight nigga walking around the neighborhood. Okay, getting everybody pregnant. Nobody expecting nothing from this nigga, so he just lived this carefree life. Okay, nigga woman, she has the perks of being the head. The dictator runs, so they don't care. Okay, they want to rest. Okay, in their comforts of captivity, man. You see, our people just want to rest in their comforts of captivity. Okay, the nigga woman can be a mayor. You see, I forgot that little ratchet mayor. What she was the mayor of, man? I forgot what she was the mayor, man. Little ratchet Eve, man. There's a few Eves. They get to be the mayor. They comfortable, man. So when you speak about truth, when you speak about, the responsibility of rulership, when you talk about discipline and self-restraint to a nigga, man, niggas lose it, man. Or you tell a woman her rightful role, which is a beautiful role, and that's what women were meant to be. And women who really embrace their role are the most happy, peaceful women on earth. Women that embrace their role. Okay? But this society has, just bombarded Jake with distraction, comfort, convenience. Okay, to where, the truth is their enemy. You see? Let's go here. Isaiah, let's get this in Isaiah 30. And I want to tie this in with Egypt as well. Okay. All right, this is Isaiah 38. It says, now go write it in a table and note in the book that it may be for a time to come, forever and ever, that this is a rebellious people, lying children that would not hear the law of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. And we have this, the scripture of the Bible as a record. All right, to show throughout time that our people will always be rebellion against, the obedience to the Lord. Okay, when you talk about obedience to Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, our people get offended. All right, but these same people had no problem getting the juice, wearing the mask in the car. Okay, nigga at Home Depot about to fall out, the forklift with the mask on. Okay, they have no problem obeying oppression. Okay, but when it comes to obedience to Yahweh Bashem Al Shai, because Esau, another thing, he's taught that the Bible is tyrannical. The Bible is doing too much, but he's not doing too much. Okay. Like I say, he poisons the air. He chemtrail you, give you flavored chemicals for food with no nutrients. Okay. You got to work at least damn near 60 hours now to attempt to break even. So you're working for free. Because if you're breaking even, you're working for free. Okay, if you're not able to create any wealth, okay, if you're not able to save any capital, you are working for free. If you're breaking even, you're working for free. Okay, but because there's so much, the devil, all right, has incorporated, so much distraction and constant stimulation and dopamines within the captivity. Okay, that people are, addicted to the captivity, man. You see, and it says, "Will say to the seer, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits." Okay, so Jake would rather hear comfortable things. The black woman is God. Okay, let's do another Black Wall Street. The Black Panthers gonna protect the neighborhood. Some simple that don't really they don't really involve changing, don't involve being committed to nothing, don't involve having faith. Okay. Oh, we got some bills, we're gonna pass some bills for black people. Ice Cube's supposed to be working on some package with Donald Trump for, a black business stimulus package and all this. See, Jake want to hear that, man. Lower interest rates. Okay, for black businesses. Okay, that's what Jake want to hear, man. A new benefit in captivity. That's what Jake want. Okay, Jake don't want to hear about the destruction, okay, of this current system and the ushering in of a righteous system, man. Okay, Jake is in love with their comforts and stability here. Okay, he says, "Get you out of the way, turn aside out of the path, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. Wherefore thus said the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon." So our people trust in, this current system above trusting in the Most High. Okay, that's why they mock the Bible, they mock the prophets, they now the Bible isn't being interrogated by niggas. Now Jake is atheist. Okay, here it is. Jake is atheist, don't believe in the higher power, but they fully trust in Esau. Okay, and Esau come with another gimmick and say that there's another mandatory juice, niggas gonna go get it. They don't care what's in it. I heard the nigga woman say, "I'm sticking out my arm." All right. Well, she said, "I'm sticking out my arm and I'm not asking nothing." Okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can find y'all 18. See if I can find this old nigga one. It was an old E, but when you're talking about the juice, she said, "I'm sticking out my arm and I ain't asking no questions." You know? Let me see, it might not be able to pull it up. All right. You got the toughest niggas on earth, okay, with masks on. And they show that you niggas don't have All right. You niggas don't have a listening problem. You just choose not to listen to the Lord. Okay. Man, I can't find it. Man, I sure want to find that clip. Okay. It just show you the trust that our people have. Okay. In the devil. All right. Edomite, a random Edomite. They can pull an Edomite out the street, get that nigga a haircut, put some glasses on, put that nigga a suit on, throw a lab coat on top of it, and he can tell millions of you niggas what to do right now. Okay. Fresh out, fresh off the streets. Okay. Let this nigga rehearse, say a few big words, say how much money they spent on the research, and you niggas would, all right, completely obey this nigga, man. You trust in oppression. Okay? That's why they're able to throw any candidate before you niggas, man. Okay? They can throw any candidate, all right, and say, here, vote for this nigga. Okay? They can throw any Democrat in front of you niggas. Okay? And no, you met this nigga now, when they play this nigga campaign, this is your first time seeing this nigga. Okay, in a week's time, you niggas are fully behind this guy, man. No matter who it is, what it is. Okay? It says, wherefore thus said the Holy One of Israel, because you despise his word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant, man. Okay, because the Lord finna break this place up. Okay, the Lord finna collapse this place, man. And all you people that trusted in this, the comforts and the convenience of, this system, man, you're gonna be lost, man. Okay, when everything that you depend on fails you, okay, and it's gonna come quick, you're gonna be lost, man. Okay, most of you are gonna be unalive. All right, and those that remain, you're gonna take the sea hill and still get unalive. Okay, so let's go here. I want to play a little bit because just reading that reminded me of Jake's spirit coming out of Egypt, man. Jake was in love, okay, with that captivity, man. Okay, now let's go here. So I asked it about comparing that to Israel coming out of Egypt. Okay, it said that's a thoughtful comparison. Let's look carefully at both sides. You're referring to moments after the Exodus when the Israelites, freed from slavery in Egypt under Moses, complained and even expressed a desire to return to Egypt. These accounts appear in biblical books of Exodus and Numbers. It said the main complaints. It said here are the major episodes often cited. After the Red Sea, they say to Moses, is Exodus 14:11-12. They say to Moses, was it because there was no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert. That is fear-based panic right after leaving slavery, man. Okay, so these niggas immediately after the Red Sea, niggas complained right after the Red Sea, man, and was talking about missing their captivity in Egypt. It would have been better to serve the Egyptians. Okay, it says hunger in the wilderness. It said they complained about food and say, if only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt. There we sat around pots of meat and ate all the food we wanted. Exodus 16 verses 2 and 3. Notice how Egypt is remembered selectively, focusing on food security rather than oppression. Okay, so Jake had become a forever slave in Egypt, man. And how much more in this modern technology, this modern society with the technology. Okay, but Jake had become a forever slave in Egypt, man. They wasn't fit to come into the promised land. And that same generation is back, man. America off a nigga, man. Okay, that's why them niggas that hollered at Egyptologists and the Moors and the science and them niggas don't have no plans of leaving America and establishing something outside of America, man. Okay? All these, Jake, they're supposed to be woken, but these niggas have no plan to leave America and establish something outside of America, man. Okay? It says Exodus 17:3, they say, why did you bring us out of Egypt to make us and our children and livestock die of thirst? It says craving meat again. It says Numbers 11:4-6. They say, we remember the fish we ate in Egypt at no cost, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, the onions, and garlic. But now we have lost our appetite. This is nostalgia, all right, for stability and sensory comfort. Okay? For stability and sensory comfort, man. And as long as Jake, and you're American citizen, as long as you got your comforts, you can go watch. As long as they got sports, okay, streaming TV, Wi-Fi, okay, food is available, okay, bars and nightlife, okay, hookup culture, okay. Long as you people have that up and running, you people don't give a damn about what your government is doing. You don't care about them niggas being nasty and lewd and cannibals and PDF. You don't care about none of it. All you care about is your, all right, daily convenience and comfort. Okay? You're not really tripping on inflation like that. Okay? It just sounds good to complain on the internet, but you really ain't tripping. You see, you hope that your oppressor do you better because you're complaining in hopes, that your oppressor just do you a little better. That's you people's main gripe. Okay, but you people don't even know how this system works. You don't have a clue of what autonomy is as a people, being self-reliant as a people. That's completely done away with. Okay. So because you don't even talk about a system that will replace this system. So you people are really not, okay, in any real rebellion. Like he said, y'all, come on, cut it out. Okay? Just admit that you are completely subservient to this oppressive government and you're addicted to it. Okay? It says rebellion and desire to return. It said Numbers 14:3-4. It said, after hearing the report about Canaan, all right, them niggas came back, them spies came back and said, man, them niggas big, man. We like grasshoppers to them, man. Okay, they came back with that weak, faithless report. All right, but Caleb was ready to go. Okay, he had a faithful report. Yeah, and the scriptures say what Caleb had another spirit. You see, Caleb had a ruling class mentality, man, and righteousness, man. Okay. But these niggas, let's read it. Numbers 14, verses 3-4 says, why is the Lord bringing us to the land only to let us fall by the sword? Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt? Let us appoint a leader to go back to Egypt, man. Them niggas wanted to appoint a leader and go back to Egypt, go back to captivity, man. They was forever slaves. No matter the miracles, no matter them being taken care of in the wilderness, the Lord just took down the superpower of the earth, Egypt, to let Jake go, man. The nigga wanted to go, and then there wasn't nothing to go back to. Nigga, Egypt was finished. The Lord played Egypt. Okay? Egypt was devastated. You see, it wasn't even nothing to go back to, man. And you look at society now, what the hell is it, to be addicted to now, man? Everything is It's done. Okay? But niggas wanted to go back to Egypt, man. Okay? Forever slaves. All right? It said this is the clearest moment of wanting to reverse liberation, man. Okay? This is the clearest moment of wanting to reverse they wanted to reverse true liberation, man. Okay? And this is why only the remnant, okay, have been blessed with the mentality of wanting to be, or truly wanting to be free from this captivity, man. Okay, let's go here. Let's get a few precepts, man. Matter of fact, let's get this. You know, let's get this in Revelation. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Okay. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. All right. And right now, the saints are the Israelites that believe, the hopeful elect. You know, and we have a different mentality from everyone else. Lord, will we endure and keep that mentality, man? You know, our faith and patience is, you know, true reparations. Okay, to enslave those that enslaved us. All right, to exact, all right, vengeance on those, all right, that destroyed us, man, according to the will of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. Okay, so let's go here, man. You know, like I say, the truth is breeding rulers, man, with ruler class mentalities, man. Okay, Matthew 7:18 said, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever, man. So those same saints of Daniel, of Revelation 13:10, okay, the Lord is going to empower them to take the kingdom, okay, under the authority of Yahweh Shai. Okay, and it begins with teaching his word, which is breaking his kingdom down. You know, so the Lord, you know, he breaks us from being, you know, enchanted, you know, by the constant pleasures and distractions, okay, to where he put us on front line of a spiritual war to break this place down. You see? So that's the point. You know, just wanted to get into that, Lord will, you brothers. All right, and you sisters edified once again. Want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Makakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.